Hello and thank you for joining. Today we are going to go over a process improvement project for the U.S. dermatology partners. We're going to talk about their supply chain and a different solution that we can implement in order to have them have an integration practice a little bit better and more streamlined. So let's go ahead and get started. Now the process improvement details that we are going to cover are put in place to simplify operations, lower costs, reduce the risk, improve the overall customer satisfaction, improve on quality, enhance process consistency, maintain security, and basically simplify the operations. Today we are going to cover the problem statement that is associated with USDP, the stakeholders involved, what the proposed solution is going to be, the timeline and milestones, the communication plan, and evaluation matrix. All of these are put in place to make strides for this organization to continually improve upon their supply chain and progress the relationship they have with their stakeholders. This is also going to identify the areas that they need to upgrade their processes and what they need to substantial review in the future. So with the problem statement, this is a full practice that they do an integration for 4 months. They need to continually improve upon this process, the quality, efficiency, and success. And one of the ways we identify what the actual problem is and getting down to the root cause is by using a quality tool analysis. In this case, we are using the Ishikawa diagram, better known as the fishbone diagram, and we have a couple of different categories that we need to cover. For the integration of a new practice, USDP has a couple of different departments that need to come together and operate accordingly in order to have the 4 months covered by every department. So the problem statement is defined as, of all the steps in the supply chain prior to full integration of a new practice, there has been a continuous breakdown by the IT department in getting the practice server set up, the employees set to the correct permission groups, and the technology installed. This leads over to a delay in the integration, which has numerous consequences. If we refer to the fishbone diagram, we can see that it starts with the stakeholders, goes over to the data pull from the legacy system, and it even goes into the permission groups that we grant to the employees. The interface build-out has also been costly through wrong crosswalking and legacy system errors, as well as a facility that needs upgrade to the wiring or they have an old layout. It is very important to also get the technology on board so that we can install it for the employees and have them ready for go live. Any of these areas that lack or have not been done efficiently can miss the deadline for the integration and it can be postponed. Now, when we talk about this problem that is in the supply chain and the process, we need to involve the stakeholders that are going to be key and the ones involved in the project. The 5 that are going to be involved range from the VP of Information Technology, the VP of Operations, the MD lead, which is the provider that was acquired and his practice is being integrated, the IT specialist that's going to be handling the day-to-day and the overall view of the project, and then the project coordinator who is going to assist IT in making sure that staff gets what they need and is going to be the one on site delivering the help as needed. All have agreed to undergo this process change. They are all looking forward to an effective relationship building and communication, and the IT and operations to work together for completion of this project. The VP of IT is going to be the one that is the project champion that needs to be closely monitored and also informed of the day-to-day operation. But we're going to talk a little bit more about the action plan and communication, as well as the timeline and milestones in just a moment. So for the proposed solution, we want to utilize a work breakdown structure so we can lay out the plan and the implementation details. By utilizing a milestone breakdown, instructive timeline, and communication plan, we can have a smart approach to keep the integration on track and provide the support to IT for the completion of this project. Remember that we only have 4 months to do so, so we will cover the timeline after we have looked down to the work breakdown structure that we need to cover. First, for full practice integration, the main tasks are the data crosswalking, the staff permission groups, and the technology installation and setup. The subtasks that go along with this is compiling the legacy data from their previous system and mapping it over to their new patient management environment. Next, we will gather a list of job roles and map job permissions from the employees so we can get them put in the correct environment. And we also need to assess the new product needs of the building and the environment that they're going to be. In the work package section, we are also going to make sure that the installation of the equipment happens. The mapped permissions are actually granted to them and they have access. And the complete data pull into the new system has been tested and complete before the integration and go live occurs. Using the SMART techniques, we can be specific, we can measure, we can see their actionable actions, and we can see the relevance and the time-bound structure. Now, as we related to the timestone and milestones for this project, we need to make sure that we have our 4 months timeline and we have everything done accordingly. So for the IT, we need to set to finish a week early so that we can cover any other areas that we may have missed, overlooked, or that needs a little bit extra help at the end. By clearly defining these objectives every 3 weeks, we can set our milestones accordingly and have everything done in the 16 weeks. First, we need to make sure after 3 weeks we have the initial office assessment and the needs for the practice outlined. Second, we need to make sure that we finish our data crosswalking from the legacy system so we can move it over to their primary patient management system after integration. Next, we need to make sure that we grant them permissions to the logins to staff, so at 9 weeks out they're able to log into the new environment and officially practice in the sandbox and get their new training in the environment corrected and done. Next, we will install the new technology and get it done in their new environment and practice so that they will be ready for their 16-week go live date. And lastly, the week before, the import data from the legacy system will happen so it can be tested and ready to go for the next week. For our communication plan, there are going to be 2 different types. We are going to stick with a formal and informal format. And the main objective of informal is to have weekly project conference calls so we can talk about the day-to-day and weekly objectives. We can have an email continuously happening in the email thread within the Outlook format so we can talk through daily tasking or any problems as they arise. And we can also have weekly catch-up meetings with the stakeholders to discuss any milestones that are coming up or have passed. After this, we have our formal communication plan. What we are going to use in this format is something called a Reich project management system. This is a full visibility of the project for all stakeholders. It grants stakeholders all permissions to set hard deadlines, do instant notifications, and they are not able to delete anything within the Reich project management system. Everything is recorded so that everybody has full visibility of everything that is happening throughout the event. This keeps track of any planned tasks, due dates, or anything that has been completed so we can stay totally on top of the project as it is going through its timeline and making sure our milestones are being met. After the 4 months, we have a few evaluation metrics put in place so that we can see if the overall project was a success or if it was a failure. The first and most complex but also most rewarding that we are going to use is the earned value management. This is so we can actually see the cost, the earned value, and any variances or risks that came up through the project. It is going to measure the overall scope, schedule, and cost of the project to see if the outline project actually worked better than we had hoped, or compare it to what we had been previously doing and see what we can do to make any fixes going forward. Then next we have our reason code analysis. This metric is put in place to see any incidents or delays that happen in the project and to understand why this process wasn't working or what we can do going forward to fix these incidents or delays or reduce these problems. Last, as always, we will do a stakeholder interview and analysis with everybody that was involved in the project so we can discuss the inner workings of this project and to see if anybody involved has an expert analysis or opinion as to why something may have happened. Thank you for taking the time to watch this process management slideshow. Hopefully we can get this project put into place and have IT fully integrate these practices in the 4-month timeline. Here are a few resources that were used during the slideshow. And thank you for everything. Have a great day.